Okay. Hey, y'all hear that banger intro? Here we go. We are back. It's finally that time of year we've been waiting for. Football season is upon us. We in training camp now, baby. What's up? What's up? You know, it's your boy Ray, your favorite uncle, aka your auntie Thriller, that boy Ray, and my tag team partner is in the building, AJ Russ, aka Swaggy Russ. Where's she at? What up, bro? How we doing today?
Great, fam. Hey, the team is traveling to Oxnard, Cowboys Nation. We live, man. This is about to be a great time. Essentially, the offseason is over now, so finally get full tune into some football. A lot of the training camp battles and things of that nature as well, too. Let's go, man.
Let's go. Hey, y'all hear that fire-ass intro? Is y'all see that here fire-ass intro? That's going to get you pumped. That's what gets you pumped every episode. Like I said, Cowboys Connect, we here to stay, baby. You don't get a bunch of content from us on a regular, but let's hop into it, right? So me and my guy Swaggy, we were talking about some stuff, you know, last year in training camp. You know, the Cowboys, you know, they signed, they blew a little bit of a bag. They spent that a little bit last year. They went ahead and signed Jake Ferguson to an extension. Then we had to move some trouble off the team. Then after that, 3 more people got a bag. So we got a question for y'all today. Are the Cowboys about to do this?
Spend that money fast, 20, 50s, 100s cash. That shit, spend that shit, yeah, spend that shit, spend that shit. Niggas.
Are they about to spend the bag on locking up some of these players to free up salary cap heading into next season? Swaggy Russ, let's pop off on them.
I for sure think it's possible. Like you see in the graphic, obviously Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark. I think if like the number one person that you could pay that we're extending right now, it will be Quentin Williams, just because like what he provides as an ultimate presence on that defense and just overall on the team. Because I mean, I believe like you talk about from a captain standpoint, it will be some of the captains this year. I think Quentin is the epitome of that in terms of how he's gonna, you know, really hone in and galvanize the defense together. And then you saw like the first game he played with Dallas last year, that Raiders game. I mean, of course the Raiders weren't great last year, but you saw him like mauling offensive linemen, like pushing them out the way, and they get into Geno Smith like that, like one hand swing. So like he's that powerful from a obviously running the stopping the run, but also from a pass rush standpoint too. And sometimes the numbers don't reflect it as well too. But I think for a full season with a new regime with Christian Parker, who's really, you know, been around great defenses in general, but also defensive lines. Yeah, I think that he's going to be able to feast it. Really, that defensive line is going to be a great reason why the defense and secondary and the second level of the linebackers is able to play great together too. And then Kenny Clark even is there as well. I just think that like if I had to choose one, for example, like if you say like you only extend one because obviously his salary cap, I'll say Quentin Williams because I believe he's 28 years old right now. Both of these players, Quentin and Kenny, they have 2 years left on their deal, so it wouldn't be free agents until 2028. But Quentin Williams, man, like I think he's a top, really to me, a top 3 defensive tackle. I know they had that poll that come out with the executives and stuff. I think he was ranked 6. I think that's too low, but people are gonna find out who he is for sure this year with a full off season with Dallas. And like for me, I would extend Quentin. Now, if they could do both, of course, do some salary cap gymnastics. Quentin and Kenny, that would be a great defensive tackle duo. But I believe like with Quentin, as he's a little bit younger, and then you can also help replenish, and also you have even current defensive tackles on the team like Otito Ogbonna and also Jonathan Buller. So from a depth perspective as well too, Overton as a 4-eye guy that can kind of play a hybrid of edge and also defense tackle. I think that Quentin Williams, I mean, I think he would be the number one guy I would extend. But also we talked about it before too. Like if there's another guy, I would say Cooper Beebe because he's entering year 3. Usually at year 3. Guys end up getting paid, and he wasn't a first round pick, he was a 3rd round pick. So you try to get ahead on that, just to try to get ahead of that, you know, center offensive line contract value. So I think those are some guys too, but I think Quentin Williams, he would be number one for me to extend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely going to be on my board because, you know, when you get him extended, they lower his salary cap number. Also, that makes more salary cap room because we got a couple guys that are going to be free agents after the season. GP, you know, obviously we want to get him back here long term. Then another name, which we're going to do a different video on for himself because it's going to be a big year for him, Agent Zero, Demarion Overshown. We got to figure out, okay, is he going to be a Cowboy long term? And if so, when are you going to lock him up? Like I said, we're going to do our own video on him because that's worth one video on his own. So the Cowboys got a lot of decisions. You know, we talked about this before. Like, you know, when you have a team, when you have a lot of the guys are the best at their position, you're a top-heavy roster. So sometimes when you're a top-heavy roster, you're not going to be able to sign all these guys. Perfect example, like last year, if we would have signed old boy last year, we wouldn't be able to get some of the guys we've been able to add to this roster. Everyone gave the Cowboys crap like, oh, they said they gonna bust the budget open. They gonna bust the budget open. And it reminds me of a conversation I had with my guy Botch Lombardi on Ray Ray's podcast. If you want to go watch that, you can go watch that. Let me plug that real quick. But we had a conversation about that. Hey, what do you think about the offseason? Everyone thought the Cowboys were gonna go get like one superstar player via free agency. No, what they did was they added a bunch of quality guys. Not the normally bargain bin people like to say the Dollar Tree free agent signings. No, they went got guys that have been productive in this league. So they've added depth all across the board on this roster. So that's the word that comes to my mind when I think about this roster so far is depth. You're deep. So like last year, I mean, it was already terrible last year. But if we would have lost, certain players, we would have been even worse off. But now we have it to where, okay, if someone gets hurt for a couple of games, we have guys that can step in. Perfect example, GP. CD, he had to miss a couple of games. That didn't stop the offense. The offense still was able to move with CD out. A couple of years prior, ain't happening. Ain't happening, bro. So that's the thing to why you got to kind of be flexible with your roster. And you got to, make those right and tough choices sometimes. To make sure you're not lacking in other areas of your roster.
Yeah, you said it too, which was a great point in terms of like them bringing in quality guys. Because you look at the top contenders around the league, like whether it's defense on offense, like even like of course the Seahawks won the Super Bowl last year, but they didn't have like necessarily a star edge rusher. They had a committee of guys, and that's the best way in terms of like just looking at a defense perspective alone. That's the best way to build it. You don't necessarily need a star edge rusher. AOC has talked about it repeatedly.
Yeah.
Last team to win the Super Bowl with star edge was Von Miller in 2015. And we're talking about that's 12 seasons ago. Like that's a long time. Like interior rushing is where the money is being made right now. That's why Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans just signed a deal averaging $35 million per year. So I think Quentin Williams could be close to that.
Yeah.
Especially after this upcoming performance this year. I think he could be an all-pro this year. That's not hyperbole to say because he's been there in the past. So I think that like interior pressure is where it's at.
Yeah.
And then like obviously the pass rush comes with that too, and that makes your back end better as well because the quarterback has less time and it makes your secondary better too. Where we have a secondary specialist as a defensive coordinator, so that all plays hand in hand together. So yeah, I think like Quentin, it's inevitable that he gets one, even if it's not this. Like say it doesn't happen before training camp. I think like after this season it would happen.
Yeah. And I think CP has the ability to help him get back to that all-pro level. And I think he had some last year. I think he was at an all-pro level, but you know what I'm saying? Our defense in general, we saw what we had. Bro. Obviously, bro. Stevie Wonder could run through the gap. The A-gap on those last year.
Untouched.
Man, it's crazy. So, but I think CP is going to play a role in like some of these guys getting a bag. Like Quentin getting a new bag. Kenny getting a new bag. Marion Overshawn getting a new bag. But then you got guys that are on some one-year deals, like a PJ Locke, Kobe Durant. Now, I'm not expecting PJ Locke to come here and be a starter, but I think he's going to be able to contribute. I think it's going to be a lot of times we have 3 safeties on the field. And I think he's going to get a lot of burn. That safety room in general, that's a great safety. I think it's the greatest safety room we've had in forever, if ever. If you look from top to bottom in that safety room, you got a guy, we're talking about like maybe a Marquise Bell, who you thought was going to be a sure in to make the roster last year. I ain't sure he going to make it this year because you just saw him PJ Locke. You still got Malik Hooker. Of course, we got that guy, Caleb Downs. Jalen Thompson, like where does Marquise Bell, fit on this roster? Then we'll get in trouble. We'll talk about that. Just a little bit of trouble he got into. I mean, when you still also have guys that were on the roster last year, like an Elijah Clark, Zion Childress, it's gonna make it hard for you to financially. Okay, do I want to keep paying this guy this amount of money, or I can get someone that can do exactly what he's doing for less money? Because I think it was like 2 regimes ago that really liked him. So
even 3, because you're talking about Dan Quinn, you talk about Zimmer, and then Eberflus, and then now it's Christian Parker. So
yeah. What I'm talking about, like Mike McCarthy, like head coach regime. So I guess two overall, but 3 different defensive regimes. Then they have him playing linebacker at one point, and they moved him back to safety. They messed with that man's career, though. But like, yeah, man, you got a lot of tough decisions. Because like I said, you can't pay everybody. Right. Even though other people think, oh yeah, you can do it. I mean, you really can't. That's the guy, we was talking about. Will McClay was over on Crown Global a couple days ago, and he was talking about, hey, don't tell me how to spend my money. He was joking around and stuff like that. But
I think there's truth to it too, though.
Yeah,
he's joking, but there's truth to
it. It's true to him. I mean, it's just you got when you, like I said, when you're a good team and you've built a roster good, which I feel like the last couple of seasons the Cowboys are trying to build that roster. They're doing different ways of building the roster versus previous ways of doing it because they realize, okay, I think obviously the light bulb is finally going off. Took a while for it, but I think it's finally going off. Like, okay, we got to do something different here. So we got to build our roster differently. Like, the money they spent on Jalen Thompson at safety, the last person I ever think they spent money on at safety was, I think, many years ago when we got him from Seahawks, Ken Hamlin. That was like our biggest like safety free agent, and then that's been like almost 20 years ago when it was with money on safety like that. So for them to go out like in the first like opening days to go get a premium, because Jalen Thompson was a premium free agent. There was a lot of guys that a lot of people wanted him. Like, he was one of the guys on my list. We had did a video about that here on the network. We had talked about him and Alontae Taylor are some of the guys we thought that could fit that Christian Parker, that big nickel role they've been talking about. But obviously, we got the best one in the draft.
Exactly.
How about the Cowboys? Yes, we ready. We ready for him. All downs to business. Yeah. So the Cowboys, they got a couple of decisions. You know, like I said, they went and they signed those guys to extensions early. Tyler Smith, they went ahead and got ahead of that. Like, oh, we got the money now. Let's go ahead and sign him, get him locked up. Deron Bland got a bag, and now his deal is looking really good. When you're seeing like the market where, like, let's say that Christian Gonzalez is about to be like the highest paid corner ever in NFL history, like that's about to look like a bargain deal. And also, you can get
right now, Bland not even closer than guys right now. He got to prove it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just
for sure. It's injuries. It's injury. He's got to be ability, but that's a whole video for another topic for another video there. But the Cowboys, they got some tough decisions to make, because if you want to keep GP long term, you got to free up the money to do so. Which, I mean, you can do it. It's just you got to get creative with it. I just hope it doesn't come down to a decision where we have to decide between, certain players. Hopefully we can keep them all, but that's not the business. Sometimes you're going to have to make those tough choices. I think if anyone would have to move on, it's probably going to be Kenny Clark. I mean, just if you look at the age, I don't know, unless he takes one of those team-friendly deals after this deal is over, we don't know. So, I mean, we can only play devil's advocate and speculate. We don't know, but I don't know. Like, if y'all out there, if y'all think the Cowboys should go ahead and get in front of some of these extensions, who do you think the Cowboys should go ahead and extend here in training camp? Comment below. Make sure you like, sharing, following us. We here to stay, baby. You about to see a bunch of videos from the Cowboys Connect. When we jump this thing off, really wasn't too much going on, but now we here. Y'all gonna get news from us all the time, so we ready. Make sure you tapped in. Make sure you loved out there. How about them Cowboys? We'll catch y'all next time. We out, baby. Please.